Okay, good deal. Okay, gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Yes, sir. Gotcha. Right. Wait, I forgot. Do I go now or no? Once again, welcome back to another timeless classic Morning Star Show episode featuring me, Super Slot 75. I am your gracious host. First, I want to give a shout out to Rod on the boards. Secondly, the slave driver herself, Cindy, on the production side of things. We are on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and now I have radio for the replays. Find us on www.onthewakeupradio.com. Also, please donate $2, $5, $1.99. It doesn't matter. Any amount that will go to the website and airtime. It's a labor of love, but we still live in a costly world. If you appreciate the free content, please help us keep the message uncensored and free. You can always donate through PayPal at onthewakeupradio@gmail.com. The call-in number is always 646-547-1305. You can find me under YouTube at SuperSlot75. Merchandise is always available at teespring.com/SuperSlot75. I have the sniffles, y'all. Listen, I wasn't gonna let the sniffles stop me. I no sleep. I'm tired as fuck, but whatever. So we're gonna get through it. I'm gonna bust these movies open for y'all, and it's gonna be kind of a shortened show tonight because I got things to do and I'm tired as fuck. So, with that being said, I'm gonna get right into it. The first movie breakdown we're gonna talk about Netflix once again giving us probably some of the best content out, original content, damn near bar none. We're gonna talk about In the Tall Grass. That's right, y'all. In the Tall Grass. I was shocked to see that. I think his name is the Conjuring guy, James Patrick. I think is that his name. He's Ocean Master in Aquaman. He's in this movie as well. I was pleasantly surprised. Okay, so In the Tall Grass. Let's get into it. So you have a pregnant couple. Her name. They're driving to San Diego. They stop for a break, right? In front of this church, and there's this church has a bunch of parked cars there. The chick gets out, the pregnant woman gets out. She hears a little kid, screaming for help in the cornfield, in the grass. I'm sorry, in the grass. And then they debate. It's a brother and sister tandem, okay. And it's Becky is the pregnant girl. Cal is her brother. They're debating if they should go in the grass and save the little boy because little boy's like, help, help, help. Becky wants to go do it. Cal's like, not so much, but whatever. So Becky goes in. Cal follows her. They become separated in the grass, right? And then Cal becomes frantic. He trips and falls into the mud. He discovers a dead dog named Freddy. Okay. And the day they've been in the grass for so long, nighttime is falling. Okay. And then the little boy that comes out, his name is Ross. Ross finds Becky and he says, oh no, I'm sorry, Ross. Ross is not the little kid. Ross is James Patrick character, the husband. Ross finds Becky. He says, hey, I'm looking for my wife and kids. Okay. Cal meets Tobin. Tobin is Ross's son. So everybody's separated, right? You have a family, it's already separated. And then you got Cal and Becky. So Tobin meets Cal, the brother, Ross's son. And then Cal asks Tobin if they lured them in because he thinks this is all a setup. Tobin says no. He heard a man shouting, and that's how it began. Okay. So then Toby's like, he tells Cal, Becky will die soon. Cal asks, well, how did you know his sister's name? And he says, The Rock had told him. And the tall grass knows everything. So The Rock is the central figure in all this. The Rock is the one main spiritual force, whether it's positive or negative is your viewpoint. I would suppose. Okay. So then Toby says, I'll show you where Becky is. Okay. Now it goes back to Becky and Ross. Becky finds a purse, medications, and a woman's scalp on the ground. And then Becky loses sight of Ross as they're going through the grass. And then she's attacked by something. And then Toby leads Cal to the Rock. So the Rock sits at the very epicenter of directly in the middle of the country. So the Rock is at the most latitude, longitude setting in the country. That's where its center point is. Okay. So then okay, so Cal's about to touch the Rock, and then he hears Becky screaming, and then he runs to find her. And Toby says, that's not the way to find her. Okay, so the next morning, we see a guy pull up. This is Travis. Travis, you don't know until further down the road that he's the father of Becky's child. Okay, he shows up at a gas station. He has a picture, shows the guy looking for Cal and Becky. He finds their minivan parked at the side of the church. And so then he goes into the grass. Travis is pretty smart. So as Travis goes into the grass, he starts tying knots into the grass as he goes so he will not lose his way. But the grass unfolds the knots that he ties in behind him. Okay. And then. So Travis looks up, notices the sun is now behind him and not in front of him. Nightfall comes, and then he meets Toby. Toby tells him, hey, listen for the others that are still trapped in the grass. But he says they're not connected to them. So it doesn't matter anyway. So basically, at the end of the day, this is a perpetual time loop. So let me just kind of cut to the chase a little bit. It's a perpetual time loop. You have future selves, past selves, other dimensional selves, alternate timelines. It's a just perpetual time loop. So that's the gist of all this. Okay. So then Tobin asks Travis his name, and he tells him, well, you don't remember me? Now, mind you, this Tobin is another version, he's a later version. The earlier Tobin remembers Travis. Okay. And so he's looking for Becky. And then Toby agreed to show Travis where Becky is, and then tells him to stay close. They're going through the grass. Travis finds Becky's dead body. Tobin says the grass makes dead things easier to find because the grass cannot move dead things. Once you die in the grass, you pretty much are there. Okay. And then Travis wakes up the next day next to Becky's body. Travis hears other people on the other side of the road. Future Tobin hears Travis pleas for help. To help Tobin, and then tells his mom, hey, that he knows my name. So now, mind you, this is another time loop where Tobin's out on the road, right? They come out to church. The dad, Ross, walks in with his cell phone. So Tobin hears Travis in the grass. This is another version of Tobin, another loop. He says, "Mom, this man knows my name." So of course, this little son bitch runs his ass up in the in the grass. Okay. So then Rod, that's when you see Ross walking with the cell phone. Freddie runs in the grass. The dog. Okay, the dead dog you saw earlier. This version of the dog runs into the grass. The boy follows, the mother follows, and then of course the daddy follows, trying to find everybody. Okay, so then Travis tells Russ and Tobin to get out of the grass. Okay, Russ is still looking for his family when he comes across the rock. And then he skips forward to when Cal and Becky first pull up to the field across from the church. Another loop. Okay. So then back to Travis. He hears Becky and Cal. Becky also has led us to how they got there before them. Okay. So Travis meets him. He's like, "Hey, I was looking for you guys." And she was like, "Well, we've only been here for a day." And he says, "No, you guys have been gone for 3 months." Okay. He explains to them they never showed up to San Diego. And then they surmise they've been, yeah. So 3 months have passed. They never showed up to San Diego. That's why Travis came looking for him. Okay. But to them in the grass, it's been a day or two. All right. Travis hosts Tobin and show him the shoulder. Tobin sees a building and then they walk towards the building. Okay. So then Cal's phone rings. You hear a woman on the phone screaming garbled talk. This would be a key point coming back into it later on. And then they hear a woman screaming, and then they're walking away. They're being watched by the grass people. And then Becky starts spotting, and then she falls out. She has visions, and then Russ shows up to give her CPR. Tobin, Russ, Becky, Cal, and Travis together. Different versions of them, but they're together. Russ is a real estate agent. They find out he plays rock and roll. He tries to determine its age. They surmise the rock is pretty old. But the carvings, there's a carving on the rock where it has people lifting up the pregnant woman. Okay. Okay, so they determined that they're the exact center of the Americas. Not America, but the Americas. Canada, Mexico, US. They are the exact epicenter of the Americas. Okay. And then all of a sudden, Natalie shows up and tells Russ to stay away. Natalie is the mother and that he's been lying. Natalie says she's seen Becky and that she's dead. Then Russ turns green and tries to convince the others to touch the rock. Ross asks Travis, "How do you get here?" Because the rock wouldn't let it find us unless it wanted to. Travis attacks Ross. Travis then crashes Natalie's head, crushed her head. So he has her in the headlock, sort of. And then he's like, "It's okay, son. We're all grass." And he crushes his wife's head in his hands. And then Tobin, Travis, Becky, and Cal make it to a grocery store. Travis and Cal kind of air out their grievances. Okay, so now the weird thing is Cal and Becky. Well, Cal has this very weird, incestuous, possessive vibe over his sister, Becky, much like Scarface. Scarface, a very weird, incestuous vibe with his sister. I can't have her as a woman, my woman, so I can't let nobody have her. So there's this weird vibe with Cal towards Becky. So at one point, they make it to the rooftop of the store, and then they can see the road, and they can see the time skip. So they see the dog Freddy go in a time loop, and he disappears on the other side. Okay. So then Travis trips ahead, traps and catches Cal. So Cal is he's holding Travis to keep Travis from falling off the roof of the store. Cal lets Travis go. Travis hits the ground. He's knocked the fuck out. Okay. So then Becky realizes Cal did something to Travis. Russ chases Cal into the grass. Russ then strangles Cal. Travis wakes up from his fall and makes the peace with Becky. They kind of patch things up. Becky tells Travis the reason she was going to San Diego was to put the child up for adoption. Okay. Moving on. Russ then attacks Becky. Becky stabs Russ in the eyes. And basically he's like, I didn't need the eyes anyway. I can see. Okay. He escapes somehow. Becky is surrounded by the grass people and then is taken to the rock, a la like the statue carvings on the rock. Becky makes a phone call to Travis, and it's the future Becky that answered the phone. So remember, Becky answered the phone. Her phone had rang, and there was a woman screaming, garbled. It's the future time loop Becky that called her. Okay, so then Becky gives birth as shown on the rock. The grass people, or the ground opens up, and you can see all the bodies that have died in the grass. It's I mean it's just feet and feet and feet of just bodies. Okay, and they're all reaching up for Becky. Then Becky wakes up, and it's Cal holding the baby. Okay, Cal is feeding her. He's feeding her, but what she doesn't realize is he's feeding her the baby because she's so out of it. You know, she didn't realize she's eating her own child. Okay, so then Travis runs back into the grass looking for Becky. Travis finds Becky's body. Tobin says, "Hey, he knows his dad's is a killer and going to kill her and Cal." Travis calls out for Russ. Russ beats up Travis. Travis then strangles Russ. Travis then touches the rock and becomes infected with the spirit of the grass. So he becomes enlightened. When you touch the rock, you see all the openings in the grass. When you touch the rock, it's almost like an eyeball. You know how the human eye, the iris, pupil, lens, and you got the veins that shoot out of it. So when you touch the rock, all the openings in the time skips, it opens up. You know the escape routes. He has the knowledge now. Okay, that's what Russ was possessed with. Okay, so then Travis tells Tobin to not let Becky in, and that he doesn't belong here. This is the future Tobin that he's gonna help break the cycle. Okay, because Travis pretty much deemed Tobin worthy of it to escape the time skip. Okay, so then he gives him his guitar necklace as proof that he was here. So then Tobin all of a sudden walks out of the church into the pew, out of the church, and then it skips back to the very beginning when Cal and Becky first arrived at the church. They hear Tobin in the grass screaming for help. And then all of a sudden, future Tobin comes out of the church and he says, "Hey, don't go in there. Stop. Don't go in the grass." And she's like, "Little boy, where the hell you come from? Who are you?" And he said, he tells her their names. He knows their names. She's like, "How do you know our names?" He gives her the necklace that Travis gave him. So Becky's looking like this shit, like, holy cow. So then Cal, Becky, and Tobin decide, basically Cal and Becky decide to keep the baby. Okay. So Becky says, "You know what? Let's get in the cars, get out of here." So instead of going to San Diego, she says, "Let's go back." So because she decided to go back, she breaks the time skip. She breaks the loop. So she breaks the perpetual loop of them repeating the cycle all over again. So then as they go back, and then goes back to Travis. Travis is all beat up and cut and stabbed. He's pretty much dying. He lays down and dies, and the grass swallows him up. And Travis basically sacrificed himself so to make sure that Tobin could break the loop. Unfortunately, Travis is dead. Okay, his loop does not break. He is in the grass. He's a dead man. So he sacrificed himself to make sure they got the loop. It was kind of a trippy thing. I had to watch it twice to make sure I was seeing everything I was seeing. That is Netflix's what's it called? Into the Grass? In the Tall Grass. In the Tall Grass. It was trippy. If you're bored, watch it. Maybe you'll see what I'm talking about. Maybe you can see things earlier than what I saw. Some things were kind of obvious. And then like, towards the end, I was like, okay, I see what they did there. Oh, I see what they did there. Okay, cool. In the Tall Grass, Netflix. Now, the second movie. I'm gonna take my time with this one. Now, y'all know about. We always talk about. There's always human flesh in the meats, right? There's not enough beef and cattle, not enough pork to feed every human on the planet. That is a fact. There's not enough animals to feed everybody on the planet. So we all are aware of people going missing, and you have running the chance of you eating flesh when you eat beef, whatever the case may be, right? So every time the discussion comes up, people always holler Soylent Green, right? Because I guess in Soylent Green, they're they're eating people without no realizing it. And I'm like, I've never seen this movie before, and I kind of get pissed off and ticked off that people keep mentioning this movie to me, and they only focus on that one part of what they remember. Okay, this is an old flick. This movie came out in 1973. Charlton Heston. Okay, so I said, you know what, I'm gonna watch this movie because I don't think people give it enough proper context as to why this movie is the way it is. Why you only remember one part of this very long ass movie. Okay, so I'm gonna break this shit down. We're gonna go step by step and explain Soylent Green. 1973, Charlton Heston. Okay, you know, you can pry this gun from my cold dead hands. NRA Charlton Heston. Okay, now opening scene is a caption. The year is 2022. New York City. The population is 40 million. 40 million. Okay, so like I said, 1973. So then you hear an announcement saying first stage removal. Streets are prohibited to non-permit in 1 hour. Then there's a commercial for Soylent Red and Soylent Yellow. And then Soylent Green is introduced as a high-energy plankton gathered from the oceans of the world. So everyone thinks they're eating plankton. Okay, if you know what plankton is, it's what the whales eat. Plankton is high in protein, yada, yada, yada. It's good for you, okay? So then it also states there are 20 million unemployed people in New York, okay? And then the company, Soylent is the name of the company. Now, this guy named Saul, he's an old man. Saul reminisces about being able to buy actual meat and vegetables. The electricity is run by human perpetual motion. So Saul has to pedal his exercise bike to generate electricity for them to use. The lights flicker, and that's your cue to get on the bike to pedal to generate enough electricity to have so you can read, write, do whatever the fuck you need to do. Okay. All right. So then outside their apartment, there are literally homeless people sleeping on the floor, on the stairs, on the first level. Like you literally have to step around people. That's how overpopulated the city of New York is in this particular movie. Now, mind you, Saul is a human resources guy. He's like a human book. His partner and friend is Thorne, played by Charlton Heston. Thorne is a cop. Now, imagine a cop that lives in an apartment that's infested outside by homeless people sleeping literally on top of each other. Okay. And then you hear baby sounds. It's just a fucked up dystopian imagery if you see this movie. Okay. So then it cuts to another scene, the very nice part of New York. There's a lady named Miss Sherrill, and she wants to surprise her guy, Mr. Simonson, by buying him a real piece of beef. Okay, that just goes to show how hard it is to get real meat in this particular movie, in this future. Okay, so then breaks into okay. So then Smith breaks into Mr. Simonson's apartment. There's a guy named Smith, and there's a guy named Donovan. Donovan tells Smith, "Hey, do this, this, and this. Here's this meat hook. Go do what you need to go do." Smith breaks into Mr. Simonson's apartment, and Smith tells him he's been unreliable. Smith then beats Simonson over the head until he's dead. Okay. Thorne is investigating Simonson's murder. Thorne questions the bodyguard named Tab, and then he questions Miss Sherrill. Miss Sherrill is like an escort, a high-end escort. And then they refer to women like her as furniture. Okay. They're called furniture. Why is that? Because they come with the apartment. Okay. It's like a furnished apartment. You have the furniture, you have the woman, and they're referred to as furniture. If you don't like the woman, you replace her. So there's, oh shit. Oh, my bad, my bad, my bad. White supremacy. Sorry. Okay. I'm cooking. I'm cooking. All right. So, Thorn questions tab, Miss Cheryl. Okay. Sanitation comes in to dispose of Simonson's body. Thorn's apartment stairs are littered with homeless people. Thorn. Okay, so then as the sanitation is taking the guy's body out, Thorn is pretty much ransacking the apartment. They live in, the elites is where this guy Simonson lives. Okay, so he's stealing. Not even so much stealing. He's just ransacking the place. Food, um, silverware, all the shit you take for granted. He's taking this shit. Wine. This dude steals jelly. Everything. Okay. He takes paper, pencils. He took 2 volumes. This is key. 2 volumes of Soylent oceanographic reports and bourbon, vegetables, and the piece of beef that Cheryl had bought for Simonson. Okay. So then the chief of detectives is talking to Thorne. He's like, "Yo, you want me to replace Saul? Saul's pretty old." And then Thorne's like, "No, I like him. He's good. He's good." Okay. So then it's Tuesday. So every Tuesday, people are in line for Soylent, for all the Soylents, okay? And then Tab, the bodyguard, is following Thorn. Now Tab works for the Soylent Corporation, all right? So then Thorn goes to Tab's apartment. Tab is not home. Tab also has a piece of furniture himself. It's a sister. Could be something, could be nothing. All right. Her name is Martha Phillips. She answers the door and he says, "Oh, you must be an escort, whatever." He says, "No, I'm furniture." So she too is furniture. All right. So Saul and then Thorn have dinner with all the produce and the vegetables and the beef that Thorn had stolen from Simonson's apartment. So Saul's like, "Oh my God." Now, mind you, Saul's an old man. So he hasn't had a piece of real food in some decades. This was pretty much before before Thorn was born. That's how long he's been without real food. Okay. So then Saul's going through Simonson's files. Soylent controls the world's food supply. Simonson was on the board of directors. Thorn is being followed. Donovan, the guy who supplied Smith with the meat hook to kill Simonson, tells the chief of police they want full cooperation from the police department. They want the shit to go away. Chief is like, "Okay, not a problem." Okay. Thorn returns to Simonson's apartment to discover Cheryl and other furnitures are having a spa day. So they're back at Simonson's apartment. All the furniture are having a good old time. Okay. They're pampering themselves. It's a furniture girls' day. All right. So then Thorn shows up. He likes Swirl. Swirl's like, "Okay, whatever." They go into the bedroom. They're having sex. So then the apartment complex manager, aka Pimp, comes in. And then he sees what's going on with the women. And then he slaps one of them. He punches the other one in the stomach. Then out comes Thorn. And he's like, "Hey, you ain't gotta do. Why are you doing all this?" He's like, "Oh, Thorn, I didn't know it was you. I didn't know you were here." And then he said, "No, would you like it if I was slapping you? What? How would you know I didn't call them all here for questioning?" So he covers for the girls, right? So then the pimp, he's upset, but he can't whoop on the dude. So Thorn basically flexed on the pimp guy. Pimp guy leaves. The girls all go. Thorn spends the night with Cheryl. Okay. And then as Thorn goes back home, Thorn finds a little toddler that's tied to a rope to her dead mother. Okay. Thorn takes the child to the church. All the while, the little girl, the little baby, the toddler is like, "Mama, mama, mama." The mama's dead. Okay. Takes to the church. The pastor was the last person to speak with a Simonson in a confession. Simonson confessed the real deal about Soylent to the pastor. Okay. So Thorn is like asking the pastor, "Hey man, Do you know who Simonson is? And do you remember him being here? Listen, the pastor is listen, he's dealing with too much shit. You know, this man gets confessions all day, all night, doesn't remember much of anything. So he's just here to be here. Okay. It's like, whatever the case may be. Okay. So then cases going on. Okay. Thorne leaves, goes back to work. The chief tells Thorne the Simonson case is closed. He wants Thorne to sign off on the case. Thorne refuses to sign off on the case. That's not good. Donovan meets with the governor Santini and tells Santini Thorne won't sign off on it, and he's becoming worried about Simonson's confession being revealed. He tells Donovan to do what he has to do. Tab is sent to the church for a confession. As the preacher man goes into the confessional booth, Tab shoots him in the head during the confession, walks out of the confession booth. Nothing happened, right? Thorne is on riot patrol as punishment for not signing off on the case. So then Soylent Green has run out of the Soylent Corporation has run out of Soylent Green. They have run out of Soylent Green. The people go ape shit. Okay, the crowd gets angry. Riots break out. The scoops are brought in. What the fuck are the scoops? The scoops are basically garbage trucks with the front loaders that load from the front and then load it towards the back. They're brought in. They literally start scooping people into the back of the garbage trucks. So then Smith, the guy that killed Simonson, tries to assassinate Thorne. They're shooting at each other. He's hitting innocent people. Blah 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 blah. Shoots Thorne in the leg, and then as Smith is about to shoot his last shot, he gets squashed by a scoop. It was funny. You just had to see it. Oh, we got a caller already. Yeah, let's take the call. Caller, what's happening?
Hey man, this is BMT. I'm enjoying the movie review that you're giving, man.
My man.
That's very spot on. We talked about that when I used to be in the military. We had a protocol if ever we were to get that bad. But most of the guys laughed at it. But we always knew that one of the oldest commanders said the military never makes protocol unless it's something that they've already tested or tried out. Because these things do happen in the world. I know it's a film, and films are like the best way to get the truth out there. Nobody would ever suspect it, And I just find that very telling when you're talking about.
Yo, BMT. I lost BMT.
When you're talking about, looking at it how we are now, if you can dehumanize people, which we already are at that level.
I lost BMT. I lost him. Flatline. Clear. Well, yeah, my man was about to drop some stuff because BMT is former military, so he knows what the tricks of the trade. So yeah, I appreciate you calling in, brother. Sorry we lost the call. No, you good? We can hear you now.
Can you hear me, Fly?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. No, I was saying like in some countries, I know some of the people don't understand, but in some countries, you can sell a little girl or a little boy for less than $50, and that's in Africa and certain South Chinese, South Asian countries. So you gotta understand and that's you don't know what you're eating, and this is very telling about this kind of story. This is very telling about this type of story because that is the easiest way to get rid of people, or how to get rid of how to feed livestock is with human consumption. So, I don't know, man. What do you think about that? Do you think that is something possible down the future if resources keep going the way it's going?
Yeah, especially if they don't find ways to kind of curb the population growth, especially in let's be honest, in urban areas, you'll see that happen before you see it out in the country per se. BMT.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. Like no, and I think the thing about it, nobody wants to admit, and I think the thing about
We lost him again. They are holding him back tonight.
we keep laughing at these things. Right. We keep laughing at these things all the time, like, oh, don't worry, it won't be here forever, this and that. But let's look at the laws and the things that are getting passed, and things happen for a reason. So when they're worried about population control and certain things of, hey, you women, y'all can do X, Y, and Z, or you know what, we encourage a lot of you men, if y'all want to travel, go ahead and leave, because we need to start spreading out the resources because there's really not enough. And another big thing, I'm not sure a lot of people understand, but big pharmaceutical companies, as well as Milton Bradley and a lot of these companies, they have their hands into everything, where now the government can't realistically even push them if they wanted to. They can't get rid of them. So most things are, in a sense, are being privatized. Before I left out of the military, a lot of my buddies, they were getting hired on as privatized soldiers for different people. I think I was offered at least about $4,000 a week if I watched over this family. I mean, it was good money, but the way how the family treated a lot of their bodyguards wasn't worth the dollars. I mean, not for me, but some other younger soldiers, they wouldn't turn that money down. And I feel like we're going to probably head down that path soon enough, where it's like, if you're not worth anything or you can't produce, the best thing you could possibly do is probably be part of the system. Because a lot of people who get their Social Security card don't know your livestock. Realistically, I don't, but you're no more than livestock. That's why the black market, a baby only costs, a black baby is only worth damn $3,500. I'm just sorry. That's how much a black baby's worth. Try to get a damn if a kid disappears, especially a black child. So this type of ideology and thought process, we are not too far from that. I do know some countries in the Middle East where, I mean, shit. I'm eating their babies. So that's in your Bible. So don't think that this shit never happened in history. Russia did it. Different countries have done it where they started eating their kids, or they did whatever they had to do to eat the poor. So
BMT. Okay. Right. Now that's what's up. Yeah, I mean that's real shit.
I know. But I'll let you go. I was gonna ask, and if you wanted to, could you one day cover an anime called Vinland Saga? I think that's something that would be up your fancy.
What's it called?
It's of Norse origin. Vinland Saga.
Okay, gotcha.
It's a very dark anime. I think, but you'll love it a lot.
Do me a favor. Do me a favor when you get a chance. Type it into the chat for me when you get a chance.
I got you, brother.
My man, I appreciate that, bro.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Not a problem.
Peace. Yo, that's my man. BMT Talks. I like his stuff. He's former military, so he's got knowledge. All right, so let me get back to okay, so we got the assassination attempt on what's his name? Thorne. That failed. Okay, so Smith got crushed. Wait. Okay, wait a minute. Then you see Soylent. Wait a minute. I lost my notes. Son of a bitch. Okay, so Thorn runs off. Tab is following him. All right, so then they get into so Thorn goes back to Tab's apartment because at this point he knows Tab is in on it. They have a fight. Thorn gets beaten up. Okay, they both get beaten up. He beats him up. Oh, and beats up the furniture too. The furniture she wanted some smoke, and he gave her some smoke too. All right. So then Thorn goes to Cheryl's, right? Before that, you see Cheryl be introduced into her new owner, and then he's checking out the place, and she's like, "Well, how do you like? Is everything to your liking specifications?" He's like, "Yeah." Oh, first, let me shout out to Lord Vell. Thank you for the super chat, brother. Thank you. So then she's like, he's like, "Well, what kind of girl are you?" Sometimes I have parties. I have business partners come over. I mean, they like to have fun. Are you a fun girl? And she's like, "I'm whatever you need me to be." Okay, so that's how she takes on her new client, her new owner. All right, so then getting back to that, Thorn goes to Cheryl's. Old man Saul, goes to the book exchange. The book exchange is basically a bunch of old Jews that have all the knowledge of all the books. Okay, so then he takes reports to them, a bunch of women, right? And then he asks about the Soylent Oceanographic Survey report. Saul finds out the truth. That the truth is Simonson was so bothered that the fact that they're using people for sustenance that he confessed to the preacher man. The corporation said, "Okay, since you can't keep water, we need to get out. You need to get you up out of here." And Simonson was okay with that. So when you see Smith come to kill him, he was like, the corporation's mad at you. He's like, "I understand. I failed them. I'm not up to snuff. I get it." He actually kneels down so Duke can hit him in the back of the head because he already accepted his fate. Like he was done. He was like, "I'm cool on this. I can't do it anymore." Okay. Saul finds out. Cheryl meets a new tenant. Saul goes to the Soylent factory, the corporation, to sacrifice himself. So then you go into Soylent. It's like going to the spa. God damn it. Can you imagine going to the spa to euthanize your fucking self? That is exactly what the fuck just happened to Saul. Saul gets in there. They greet him and meet him with open arms. He takes a shower. He eats some food. Right? He's dressed in white linen. They're so nice and so kind to him. They lay him on the bed. You have this big ass screen of nature. Right? All these nice, warm, soft, calming images right before the fuck you die. Okay. So then Thorn finds out he hitches a ride on one of the scoops. He sneaks his way into the Soylent, into the factory. He sees where the bodies are being dumped into a vat of like liquid. Then he sees the conveyor belt, and then on one part of the level you see just chips come out. Okay. Still, if you're not sharp, you may miss the connection. He beats up a couple of the workers, finds his way into where Saul is being hidden. He beats up another worker or two. He, hits the monitor. He says, "Saul, what are you doing?" He says, "Thorn, I'm an old man. I'm tired. You gotta tell these people the truth, right?" Okay, so then from the cemetery, you see Soylent Green chips on conveyor. Worker sees him, fight ensues. Thorn escapes and calls. Okay, before he goes there, he calls the precinct, the 14th district, his station, and then he calls Cheryl, and Cheryl says, "I want to be with you." The fuck? He's like, "I want to be with you, dude, but I can't. It's not going to work because it's just not going to work." Okay. So then Thorn tells his chief he's at the exchange. And then he gets into another shootout with Tab, the bodyguard. Right. So then he ends up killing Tab, but then Thorn's all shot to hell. Right. And his would-be assassins, he kills everybody. Homeless shelter. They get the fight in the homeless shelter. Thorn stabs Tab. Tab falls over. The chief shows up. Okay, now before the chief shows up, he's talking to Saul. Saul is like, look, I'm out. I can't. I'm tired. I'm tired. He's like, man, you ain't gotta do that. Just don't. So they watch the images together while Saul literally just dies right then and there. Okay, they haul his body off, right? So then the shootout, and then the chief shows up. Okay, chief shows up. Thorne tells Chief Hatcher. He says, man, you got to tell the exchange that Soylent Green is made out of people. And then Chief is like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna tell him. We're gonna take care of you. They wheel him out. Mind you, this man is shot to hell, stabbed up. He's, if he doesn't get medical attention, he's gonna die out. He's gonna bleed out pretty soon. So as they wheel him out, his last words is Soylent Green is people. End scene. That is what everyone keeps wanting to talk about, the Soylent Green. That's the one line you remember out of that fucking movie. Like, you forget all this extra other shit. Just this one part. I'm not saying it's not important. I'm just saying, like, there was a little bit more to the movie than people remember or care to kind of research a little bit further. You know what I'm saying? So what happened was Soylent decided to save whatever is left of the oceans, the wildlife, etc. They made a decision to use the biggest consumers of these items is humans. And if you think about it, that's the logical decision. Let's be honest. If your consumers outweigh your producers, yes, the consumers are a problem. So it's a logical step to preserving humanity, thinning out the herd, culling the herd, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I'm not saying it's right, but let's be honest. If you're on the board of directors like this and the situation is dire, the earth is resources are dwindling, yes, you will make the decision. It's time to start using people as food. Sorry, not sorry. As long as you're not eating them, you're okay. Okay. That was Soylent Green, 1973. Now, my last final breakdown for the night. This is, like I said, it's gonna be a short show. What did I say? 90 minutes? We ain't gonna make it 90 minutes. We're not gonna make it. We're not gonna make it. All right, this one particular movie y'all have been in my ass about for the last month. For the last month, y'all been like, yo, Sly, this movie here, man, please do it. Please, please, please. Ain't nobody donated to me to ask. No one gave me money to fuel my fire to want to see, even though I do it for free because the movie is awesome. It's a classic movie. Still, okay. This final movie for the night, none other. 1986. Eddie Murphy's The Golden Child. Yeah, motherfucker, The Golden Child. Listen. Eddie Murphy, to me, is the GOAT of comedy. Listen, I'm explaining my reasons why before I get into this shit real quick. Eddie Murphy is the GOAT of comedy to me because he took comedy and became a movie star off this shit. Let me explain something to y'all. The action comedy genre is because of Eddie Murphy. There's no such thing as action comedy genre without Eddie Murphy. The top buddy flicks, that's Eddie Murphy. Okay, your Lethal Weapons, what the fuck else? Yeah, Rush Hours. Eddie Murphy. He created a whole. Got another caller right before I'm about to cook these motherfuckers. That's all good. Caller, what's going on? What's happening?
Hey, Super Sly. I wanted to speak a little bit on that food piece you were just talking about.
Yes, sir.
So I know you were talking about it a long time ago, and it's starting to catch wind. South Park actually just did a bit on feeding pretty much people, but they call it goo, to the kids in our school now, and now they're disguising the goo with just, I mean, you can make it into anything pretty much, like how in that last movie you were just discussing.
Yeah.
And now they're giving it to our kids. So pretty much kids don't even really know what they're eating at this point. other than what they put on the label, and I just was like, yeah, this is, and let's when is the world gonna burn? I'm gonna wait for that.
You and me both.
But that's all I wanted to put out there.
I say you and me both.
Yeah, so it's getting bad though, because if a trolling cartoon is putting it out there, and most of the people I'm around are not, I shouldn't even say woke. I should say they're not there. Not good.
Right. No, we're in agreement. We're in agreement.
But that's all. Yeah, but that's all I wanted to bring, contribute to the show, because I love it, and I'm ready for that next movie review you about.
I'm on it. I appreciate the call. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you for the call. All right. Back to cooking this steak. Now, I listen. I understand Bill Cosby, I Spy. Listen, Eddie made it an actual genre. Okay, on the big screen, and then there's a song called by Cameron called Home. Y'all remember Kanye's verse? Sweet brother Noom said, yeah, that's the golden child. Okay, thank Eddie Murphy for that. Okay, let's get into it. Let's get into this movie real quick. All right. So now, opening scene, you got Sardo Noomspa, right? And they break into a Tibetan monastery where the golden child's being, that's where he resides. So it's his coronation. They bring in praise and honor to the golden child, whatever the case may be. The one monk brings him a bunch of beads to pick out from. He ends up picking the beads from the monk himself. He took his own beads. He took the monk's beads off and put them on. And everybody's like, oh, right? Okay, so this kid is pretty special. Yes, and we all know the golden child was played by a little boy. It's supposed to be a girl. No, wait. No. That actually is a girl that played a little boy. Now, read into that what you want. Read into it what you want, whatever the case may be. Okay, so now, the golden child's being coronated. He takes the beads off the monk's neck. So then one of the monks brings him 4 dead birds. And then the golden child resurrects one of the birds. And then a bird flies up into the rafters and is just chilling. This bird is crucial. Okay, this bird is important. All right. So then Noomspa and they all break into the monk. They kill all the monks. They snatch the little boy up in a specially made cage, right? That lowers and cuffs, because you can't let him touch you. Because if you let the golden child touch you, you basically under his possession. He can make you do whatever the fuck he wants you to do. So he ends up touching one of the henchmen. One of the henchmen decide, under the golden boy's commands, to fight against the invaders. They eventually kill the henchman because Sardo told him, don't let him touch you, touch the man, whatever the case may be. Okay, so then okay, so then during the attack, Sardo was able to teleport from one spot to the other. So this is a supernatural being that we're dealing with. It's not a human. Okay, so then the bird, as they take the golden child away, the little red bird flies off into the sky. Right? It's still a clue. Okay, so then henchman killed you. So we cut to L.A. Chandler Gerald is the name of Eddie Murphy's character. He's in L.A. He finds missing children. He's in L.A. posting missing children posters. He's wearing a black leather brimless hat. We would call that a soft fez. Okay, that's just putting that out there for you guys. So then Cherry finds so he's looking for a little white girl named Cheryl Mosley. Okay, goes on his little TV show, and the TV host is not trying to give him any information, not trying to give me airtime. He's like, "Look, man, I'm trying to find this little girl named Cheryl Mosley." And I don't give a fuck what y'all doing over here. Cheryl Mosley. Call this number, yada, yada, yada. So while he's on TV, there's this investigator named Key Name. Now, listen, this woman, y'all remember this woman, all my old heads. This woman was beautiful. Do you understand me? Her name was Charlotte Lewis. She's British. This heifer here, this was a gorgeous woman. Beautiful woman, beautiful woman. Okay, so now she's looking at Chandler on the TV and she's taking notes because she's tracking the golden child's whereabouts. Okay, so she sees Chandler. She's going to enlist his help for him to help her find the golden child. Okay, so then but here's what everybody missed. Dead ass. Everybody missed this part. Before the scene ends, the host asks this dude, he says, so you had a sex change. Cut scene. All y'all missed that. All y'all missed it. And if you said you did, you're lying. Okay. So then Keenan, she meets up with Chandler. She's like, hey, I need your help in finding the golden child. She explains that the child is special. Right? He's on the basketball court. He's playing with the little kids and whatever. And she explains it's a 400-year prophecy called the Nutra Aura. The prophecy explains that the golden child will be taken to the city of the angels to be rescued, and that Chandler is the one to do so. The one who is not an angel will rescue him. It is he. All right. Chandler rebuffs her pleas. She says it's his destiny to find the golden child. Then later on, Chandler finds Cheryl's dead body. He's taking pics of the scene, the crime scene, the walls, the building, whatever case may be. That she has a yellow dragon tattoo. Come to find out, Cheryl's body's been drained of blood. All her blood's gone. The neighbor says they reported a white van and constant murmuring. The constant murmuring they heard was the golden child must be surrounded at four corners of evil at all times. Because if he is not, he is able to astral project. Okay? This is deep shit. This is 1986, man. So he must be kept at bay, four corners of evil, every day of the hour, or he can astral project. Okay? So then the van leaves, the murmuring stops. That's what they reported. Chandler finds oatmeal, and there's blood in the bottom of the oatmeal. And then, of course, Key Nang shows up at the crime scene. Cheryl died from blood loss. Key and Chandler, they go to meet at a diner. He tells her he's not taking the case. She tells him he's already working on it. She picks up one of his photos from the crime scene, and she tells him this is a restraint cast, and they must contain him physically and spiritually. Evil must be kept on him on four sides at all times, because if you don't, the golden child will astral project himself out of the situation. Okay. Key tells Chandler if he finds Cheryl killer, he'll find the golden child. He asks, why would you think there's blood in the oatmeal? She doesn't know. So then they go to Dr. Hong to get the answers. So he meets Kala. God damn it, this fucking name Kala. Kala is a dragon lady. So he asks, okay, what's up with the blood? She says, every 1,000 generations, a perfect child is born, and a golden child. He has come to rescue us from ourselves. He is the bringer of compassion. If he dies, then compassion will die with him. The world will become hell. Okay. Then he asks her again, the blood. What does the blood mean? She says to him, nothing in the world can hurt him unless he were to pollute himself with anything unpure. Then he would become vulnerable. Okay. If he eats the blood, they can kill him. And then he makes a joke. He's like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing tonight? Because your silhouette's kicking. And she kind of hisses and rattles, and the whole place is shaking. And then Dr. Hong is like in his, is like, Allah, da, 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 right, to calm her down. Okay. So then Chandler's like, okay, that's a nice little puppetry exercise. I don't believe what I just saw, but it looked real. Key tells him she is the librarian of the secret repository of the Pal Kosin. She's over 300 years old. He asks her, okay, how is she able to live this long? She says one of her ancestors was raped by a dragon. Okay. So back at the warehouse, Uh, the golden child surrounded by four monks, chanting the evil murmurs. All right, inside of a huge sigil. Okay, one of the henchmen, played by Randall Tex Cobb. Y'all remember him? Old school bad guy, former boxer, right? He is throwing rocks at the golden child. The golden child, he puts his hand up and reflects the rocks. He's trying to shoot him with a slingshot. He's repelling the rocks. So then we all remember the scene, the cutest scene in the whole fucking movie. The golden child animates a Pepsi can. The Pepsi can begins to sing and do its little thing. Of course, the henchman named Till, he's amused by it. And then in comes Sardo and stomps the can out and tells Till to take his toys and go play elsewhere. And then Sardo tells the golden child, you will eat at some point. Now, how is the golden child able to resist eating the oatmeal for so long? The golden child was hiding bay leaves in his sleeve pocket, so he would pluck a leaf off every day, and that would sustain him for an entire day. Okay, so then knock the Pepsi can, squash by Sardo, knock out the man. Okay, so then one of the monks falls out from exhaustion. So then, of course, the golden child was able to astral project to Chandler at his home. He's floating. He comes. Okay, so Chandler goes to his window. There's a bright light. He opens the shade. He sees the little boy floating. And then the golden child sends the little red bird, the little resurrected bird from the beginning. The little bird comes through. And then the golden child disappears. And then the bird is on the branch. And he's like, little bird, where'd you just come from, little bird? The bird is key. I'm telling you, okay? All right. So then Chandler gets a phone call about a tip for where Cheryl's kidnappers are located. He's told she was the Yellow Dragon biker gang in Pacoima. Key and Chandler follow the biker gang to their hideout. They're followed by the Red Bird. Okay, in the car, Chandler. Okay, all you red pill goofball niggas. So Chandler tells Key, stay in the car. Okay, if anything happens, leave. Soon as Chandler leaves, what does woman do? I say, when you tell a woman to do something and then you leave, what she do? The exact goddamn opposite of what you told her to do. Okay. So Eddie, are you laughing? You're one of those type, aren't you? Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, here she go. So Eddie goes into the hideout. He gets caught. Here comes Key. Of course, she's whooping some ass. She rescues Eddie. Eddie gets to whooping some ass. And then after he beats up one of the biker gangs, he asks her, why did y'all kill her or whatever the case? Where'd you sell her to? He says they sold her to Tommy Tong because he had a deal with the devil and needed her blood. So back in the car, Chandler tells Key, no, before they get to the car, after they knock him out and get the information, he's like, hey, didn't I tell you to stay in the car? He said, this is man shit. This man thing's going on out here. You could get hurt. That's why I told you to stay in the car. And she's like, okay. Red pill niggas, y'all listening? All right. So then Chandler goes to Tommy Tong's restaurant looking for Tommy Tong. Tommy Tong is played by Peter Kwong. And if you see Tom, you will know his face. All my old heads, y'all remember Big Trouble in Little China. He's one of the three henchmen. He was actually, I believe, the lightning guy. He was the lightning guy, if I remember correctly. That is Peter Kwong, aka Tommy Tong in this movie. Okay, so then Eddie chase after Tommy. They lose Tommy in the alley. Here comes this little rat. This rat shapeshifts into Sardo. Sardo cuts him with his own blade, shapeshifts back into the rat, and then leaves. Eddie comes around the corner, and Tommy's face is slashed in. She's looking at him like, he's like, I didn't do it. And she's like, just looking at him. And he's like, you don't believe me? And she's like, no, it was I didn't do it. So she thinks he killed Tommy. All right. So then tongue escapes. So then Key tells Chandler they're up against demons. Sardo returns back to the warehouse to commune with the devil. So the devil wants to know why the child's still alive, and not to underestimate the power of good nor the strength of the child. The devil tells Sardo to get the Ajanti dagger to kill the child and use the child as a bargaining chip to obtain the dagger. The voice of the devil was played by none other, old heads once again, Inspector Gadget, the Claw. That's the voice. That's that same guy. All right, just a little fun fact for you guys. Okay, Sardo astral projects Chandler into another reality. It's a TV game show. Chandler thinks it's a dream. Okay, this is called dream transfusion. All right, Sardo offers to he tells Chandler, look, he'll trade the child for the dagger. And then, of course, Chandler's like, I don't believe this is real. He begins to cut his arm down the forearm, that long way with his fingernail. The crowd is laughing. So then he further attempts to corrupt Chandler by having him see a tied up Key Nang in a nightgown. Well, not a nightgown, but like a bikini top. And she's tied up with toilet paper. And he's like, okay, what are you doing here? And she's like, it's your dream. So then all of a sudden, Key Nang starts getting all real flirty and sexual with them, right? So then in comes Fu and Till. They try to beat him up. Then he wakes up and sees a scar on his forearm. Chandler, Key, and Dr. Han go back to report his dream to Kala. Kala reveals to the name of the demon and the history of the Ajanti dagger. It was brought into this world to kill the golden child. Kala tells Chandler to get the knife to lure Sardo out of the open, but must never give him the knife. Okay. Chandler and Key go to Tibet to return to retrieve the dagger. Key explains dream transmission. Part of the dream was real, part of it was fake. Okay, so now they're moving the golden child to another location. He's down to his last bay leaf. Okay, the red bird shows up, shows Chandler where to go. And mind you, the red bird shows up in fucking Tibet. So this is not an average bird. This is a special bird. Okay, this bird can travel from LA to Tibet. Okay, so then Chandler meets an old vagabond who turns out to be Key's father. He puts him through a couple tests, takes $100 bill from him. Key and Chandler arrive at the temple. This is the most classic scene of all movies. Everybody knows this motherfucking scene. They're at the temple, and they ask for the cross dagger of Ajanti. She's like, well, we come here for the dagger. Please look at the dagger. He's like, I want him to ask me, right? So Chandler's like, they want you to ask for the knife. And then he, because you have to turn the turnstile. So he says, I want the knife. Everybody remembers this scene. Everybody. This is Eddie fucking Murphy. Greatest comedian ever, all time. Okay, so then Key's father tells Chandler, only a man whose heart is pure can wield the knife. Chandler has to walk across the corridor with a glass of water without spilling it, and that his heart must be as pure as the water. So the first trial, he has to walk across a bunch of columns and a rickety bridge. As he gets across the bridge explodes in a ball of fire, right? The last trial, okay, so the dagger is in behind a wall of flames. He reaches in and tries to get the dagger. The flames increase. So then he remembers the heart must be as pure as the water. He drinks the water. The flames are extinguished. He reaches in and grabs the knife. And he tells them to turn the lights on. Classic Eddie Murphy. Okay. So then Chandler asks Monty, which is Key's father, the vagabond. He says, the process in professing his love and wanting to marry Key. Red pill niggas, listen up. So he tells him, he says, you must make a promise to someone who you have just met. You must remain pure, as in being celibate. You must trust someone who has no reason to trust you, and love someone who loves him in return. Okay. Then Key sits down with her father, and she says to her father, I have ruined myself for the American. She says he's a fool. He says he's brave. She says he's irresponsible. He says he's generous. She says he thinks of nothing but protecting his own feelings. He says if you touch his heart, there's nothing he wouldn't do for you. She says he believes in nothing, and he says, but he still does what is right. Then Monty says, magnificent Americans, so much power and so little understanding what to do with it. This is a movie with a black man looking for a goddamn special child. Okay? It's just layers to this shit, y'all. Layers to it, okay? So then, Monty tells Key she must help him save the golden child and follow her heart. And he gives her blessing. He gives her his blessing to marry him. Red pill niggas, pay attention. So Key and Chandler, they're going through customs in Kathmandu. And he's like, look, I can't go through here with this knife. They're going to arrest me and impound the knife. He's like, you're the chosen one. You can figure it out. So what he does is he puts the knife. He sees a white American. Okay. He says, oh my God, I'm so glad to see another American. He puts the knife in his pocket. So as the white man goes through the metal detector, it goes off. And then Eddie Murphy tackles him. He's like, aha, I caught you. I caught you. And then he says, he pulls out a fake badge. He's like, don't have to worry. I'm an agent from the Stolen Artifacts Foundation. And and he said, everybody, I got it. And he takes the knife, right? He says, it was funny. And then he starts thinking that Kathmandu officer, he's like, you did a good job. You did a great job. He says, fabulous training. I can see where to get all this skill set from you and the awareness and the sharpness. And he had the dumbest looks on their fucking faces. Oh my God. Okay, so on return to LAX, Sardo Noomspa is waiting with the cops. He told the cops that Eddie has stolen an artifact from him. Okay, so then there's another classic scene. This is what this Cameron song. Okay, so then Chandler, he goes up to the Sardo. He's like, "Oh my God, brother Noomse, I have transgressed. Please forgive me, brother Noomse. Please forget. I have offended thee." Okay, so then Sardo was like, you're not gonna get away with this, and he tells Sardo, said, "Look, man, if you pursue this, these cops are gonna arrest me, and they're gonna take that Jagger, and they're gonna sit in the impound, and I'm gonna sit in jail for about 3 to 4 months, and then I'm gonna go to trial, and it's another 6 months to a year. You don't want to go through all this." Okay, so then Sardo backs off, and then Eddie says, good news, everybody. My brother Noomse has forgiven me. Brother Noomse. That is where the line from the Cameron song, goddamn it, home. Brother Noomse. That's where he got that shit. Eddie Murphy, the greatest. Okay. So then Sardo tells Chandler to bring the knife, and he'll bring the boy. Okay. So now the boy is at the new compound. Okay. So then the night before the exchange, okay, Nee is wearing a t-shirt, right? Because in the beginning, Chandler kept offering Nee to come upstairs to his apartment. She kept rebuffing him. So now she's like, "Are you not coming to bed?" And he's like, "Ah, nah, I'm gonna sit here and wait. I'm gonna stay up and guard this knife." She offered herself to him. He remembered he had to keep his promise to Monty, her father. He must remain pure, as in being celibate. Okay. So then Sardo's men attacks the compound. Few until they get into the huge scrap. It's a big fight. Sardo picks up a bow gun, a crossbow rather. I'm sorry, crossbow. Key starts doing a bunch of backflips because she knows he's about to shoot him, and then he shoots the arrow, and Key gets shot in the back. She dies. Okay, she dies. And before she dies, she was like, "I didn't offer myself as an obligation to you. I offer myself to you because I love you." Ugh. And it was like, oh shit, that's so fucked up. So she dies in Eddie's arms. Eddie takes her body to Kala. So then Kala says, well, there's a chance you can still save her. You got to save the golden child. He can resurrect her as long as sunlight touches her body. So then Eddie's like pissed. He's like, he said, no more magic, no more riddles. So he goes and angrily removes the silhouette that's hiding Kala. And then Kala is finally revealed. This long ass tongue. She's half woman, half snake with two tails. She hisses and rattles. Goddamn. As a kid, seeing that shit fucked me up. That's why I probably never dated an Asian woman, because of that scene right there. I know that's fucked up, but whatever. Okay, so then back at the new location, the Golden Child resurrects a butterfly for Till, and then Till gets too close to the Golden Child. So now Till, Randall Tex Cobb's character, is now under the influence of the Golden Child. Till knocks the blood oatmeal over. The Redbird shows up again, shows Chandler where the hideout is. Chandler goes to the hideout. Chandler enters the compound. Him and Fu engage into a fight. And Fu ends up hanging himself with his own link chain. Another henchman is about to shoot Chandler in the back with a bow gun. Till comes in behind and snaps the henchman's neck. Till takes Chandler to where the Golden Child is being held. They free the Golden Child. Sardo shows up, transform into his true self. Is basically he's a demon at the end of the day, and they chase Chandler and the Golden Child. There's a car chase. Sardo is flying, chasing the car. They go to a silo of some sorts. Another battle ensues. In the wake of Sardo kind of hitting the concrete and everything, concrete falls on top of Sardo. Okay, so then Chandler and the Golden Child they hop Till it out of there, right? So then they go back to Kala's, Dr. Hong's place, to resurrect Key while they still have sunlight. Because if they don't do about the time but before the sunlight falls, she's dead for good. So then right before the Golden Child's about to touch her foot, up pops Sardo, and he's still kind of injured because of the concrete, whatever. They're fighting. Eddie's getting his ass whooped, and then the knife falls out, and then Sardo reaches for the knife. The Golden Child uses telepathy to move the knife, give it to Eddie. The Golden Child creates an energy barrier, and then all of a sudden, here comes Eddie with the knife, stabs Sardo in the heart, and he explodes. Right? He explodes, and then there's a beam of sunlight beaming on Key's toe. He touches her toe, resurrects Key. It's a happy ending. So then, of course, whatever, fast forward, you see Key and Chandler and the Golden Child, and she's going to take him back to Tibet. She'll be back in 2 weeks, and then the jokes ensue. And like I said, it's a happy ending. That was 1986. Eddie Murphy's The Golden Child. God damn it, get off my back. I finally fucking done the movie breakdown. I hope you're happy now. What did I say, 90 minutes? Was that an hour and a half? No. Yo, so yeah, that was oh shit, my man Truth Teller. Thank you, bro. Shit. Oh, we got a caller. Caller, what's going on? Yes, sir. You're on the line. Hello?
What's good?
My man, talk to me.
What up, man? Man, you forgot the most part of the movie, man. You left this one part out.
What was that?
That woman think Eddie Murphy was going to eat that damn squid out of the newspaper. She trying to offer him on the plane.
That's right. You stupid for that one.
Yeah, man. Forgot about that part, see?
True indeed.
Nah, man, I ain't got much, man. Like I say, always you bring in the heat, man, and just. I tell people stay away from the little underground restaurants in the dark. They got a couple of them in Frisco.
Oh yeah.
You don't know what y'all eating.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a couple little restaurants they have where they tell human flesh and stuff. So y'all be careful. They actually, I think they showed one on the Food Network like years ago, but they wasn't showing human flesh no shit like that. But it was just like a restaurant where you walk in. And it's like pretty much pitch black dark, and you don't know what you're eating. You got to use your senses.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
You got to be some kind of special. Yeah, you got to be some kind of special off your rocker to eat at a place like that when you can't see what you're eating.
Yeah.
And just pretty much, I want to tell my people in California, pack y'all shit, get the fuck out of California while y'all can. So they about to invade. Y'all gonna have a problem.
Yeah, it's go time in Cali. You ain't lying.
Yeah, and then also too, what people don't realize. Gavin Newsom just signed that bill, was it last Friday, that nobody talked about. the actual red flag law is so broad now. It's to a point now they can just say you crazy. They taking all your guns.
Yeah.
And before you even get a chance to even appeal, they gonna run you through the ringer.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's all I got, man. I just want to call and show my support, man.
My man, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. For sure.
Yes, sir. Yo, that's what I appreciate. That. Thank you, guys. Super chats. Oh, faces by pureness. Thank you for the super chat, dear. Another call on the line. Caller, what's happening?
What's going on, brothers?
Big dog, I listen. I know who you are. You have to tell me. You can't tell me.
I know I ain't got to tell you, bro. What's going on, man? I just caught the tail end of the show, man.
No, it's all good. How you been? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. You know, I had to go in the room and show my brother some support, show him some love.
As always, I appreciate it. I'm always humble. I'm humble when I stand next to you, brother. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Hey, you know another thing. So you know which movie you should do a breakdown of, man?
What's that?
You ever watched what's this movie? It's from Macaulay Culkin. It really to me. Oh, My Girl. That's the movie, My Girl.
Okay.
My Girl really displays a one-sided love that's not fair.
That's a good point.
You ever thought? Yeah. I never hear too many people talk about that. They always talk about how, you know, look what he did for her, look what he did for her, look what he did. I mean, where's the duality at?
That's a good point. Okay.
I could be missing.
No. You know what? Because I remember that movie, and I remember everybody was upset because he died. And motherfuckers like, well, what the fuck? That's right. Yeah. Okay. Game on, sir. Game on.
Yes, sir. But I ain't gonna hold you up, bro. Hey, love is love, man. I just wanted to come, like I said, come through, show you some support. Let the chat know that I love my brother, and I stand behind my brother 100%.
My man, that is officially the Suge Knight of the Inquisitors. He's the Goon Squad. God damn it, he's the Goon Squad.
All right, bro.
Yes, sir. Peace. That's right. Inquisitors, we a gang now. So yeah. Last little bit before I get off here real quick. This Errol Spence thing is really irking my nerves. Okay. Listen. Errol Spence that we knew is no more. If you firmly believe this man survived being ejected from his car with merely a broken teeth and lacerations. Friday Child, thank you, hun, for the super chat. Appreciate it. You just, I mean, what the hell you been? I mean, I hope you're in the kitchen cooking for your man. All right. Okay. Getting back to this Errol Spence thing. Listen, Errol Spence that we knew, is no more. This new Errol Spence all of a sudden is a drunkard, and the tweet that he put out all of a sudden got deleted. It's a wrap, y'all. Listen, I don't care about if he fights Pacquiao. I don't even care if he fights Terrence Crawford at this point. This ain't the old Errol Spence. This is the new compliant Errol Spence. And if you want to ask me, well, Sly, okay, then if that's the case, then who we need to put the finger at? I'm gonna tell you who to point the finger at. His name is Al Heyman. Okay, Al Heyman runs boxing. It used to be Bob Arum. It's now Al Heyman. Al Heyman is a nigga from Cleveland. Cleveland niggas stick together. Case in point, I had dealings with what's the dude name? Gervonta, not Gervonta's manager. I don't know. Big 6 foot nigga. He's a manager. He manages one of them boxing boys. They all from Cleveland. Cleveland niggas stick together, which I ain't mad at. But no, Errol Spence is no more. Stop at this point. Like it. I don't mean to sound crass to people, but people get replaced all the goddamn time. Okay, your key signs are rehab, jail, hospital. Okay, rehab, jail, hospital. Okay, any one of those 3 places, it's a done deal. Okay, so when they have exhaustion. They have to go to the hospital for exhaustion. When have you ever heard of a motherfucker need to go to the hospital for exhaustion? What the fuck is that? My daddy works 70 hours a week. He ain't never went to the hospital for exhaustion. Okay, so it is what it is. Let it go, y'all. This Aerospin they about to bring out in front of y'all. This is the compliant version, and now they're gonna put the drunk sticker on them, which is nonsense. And then I think that's pretty much it on my end. I'm gonna wrap this up. Super Cogent, thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate it. I hope everybody got some out of these movie breakdowns. I'm doing this because it seems to me that you guys like this format better as opposed to me just reading articles and shit. So I'm gonna keep doing this way unless I get a mass influx of y'all saying we don't want it. We wanted something to change. So as long as you guys want it, I will continue to give you guys the movie breakdowns, and we're gonna keep it that way. I think this works for everybody. I give you the breadcrumbs. You guys just do the rest. You know, I'm just pointing things out to you, and you guys put in the work. So with that being said, I'm gonna get out of here. Wrap this up. Say goodbye, Cookie. All right, y'all have a good night. Peace. Cool. Oh, that no. Well, no. I yeah. And to talk. Yeah. Now, I already did a review on it, so maybe later on I'll get into the nuances of it. But you know, I didn't want to spoil it for you. I was waiting for you to go see it. Oh, how'd you like it? Okay. Yeah. 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 Right. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Right on. It would it would be nice. Yeah, this is true. This is true. Okay, I appreciate that. Sick day. I appreciate that. I'm gonna take that. All right, cool. Have a good night. Yes, sir. Yep. Peace. Yo, yee. What you laughing at? What's so funny? The red room. The red room is right around the. You saw the red room, right? The red room, the living room.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they miss it. So one of these days I got to do another show from there, which is I don't know how I'm going to do that without being interrupted. We'll figure it out. So the red room is literally like right there. Pew pew pew. Foot Bear. Yeah, I've done American Gods. It's been done to death. Honestly, no offense. I've done it. I did that shit the last season. Where it was pretty much we all knew it was that was the boy's son. So yeah. With that being said, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank everybody for hanging out. Friday. I ain't seen you in a good minute. It's good to see you. I missed you. So yeah. Now I'm not saying Spence was MK. I'm just saying that whatever he didn't want to do. This new version is going to do it. So watch all the sucker shit that they have Spence doing moving forward. So it is what it is. Big B, thank you, bruh. Big B is a great movie review off subject. What do you think about this barbershop BS? I joined all the shows, especially a cult talk thing. Yeah, nah. I honestly, I don't. I don't listen. The whole LeBron, NBA, China shit. China basically, Nike. It's Nike China. Nike China runs the NBA. So you talk about corporations and then you get to sports. I mean, basically, their names and images are owned by the NBA, and you know, China owns a huge portion of that. So the biggest outfitter is pretty much Nike for the NBA. They have a huge contract with them. So yeah, players got to acquiesce. This is what happens when you let players talk about politics, which they shouldn't. Here's my thing: if I pay this, I just want to see you run and jump. That's it. Listen, I only go to sporting events to see niggas run and jump. That's it. I don't care about your political affiliations. I don't care about what you think this side is. I don't even care what you think about police brutality. I just want you to see you run and jump. I just want you to physically do what I cannot do. That's it. Run, jump, nigga. Run, jump, skip. Do nigga shit. Run, jump. That's what you're good at. That is your place in life. I just need you to do that. I don't want to hear about what you think about Trump and Elizabeth Warren. I don't want to hear none of that shit. So that's it. So the rest of the dummies give a fuck about that shit. So it is what it is. So yeah. With that being said, I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta go get some Chipotle. Chipotle, right? We're doing Chipotle?
Yeah.
All right.
I had it before.
Did I give you permission to talk?
Shut up. The hurl is thrown.
Listen, C Boogie out here dismiss. Listen, hold up. I couldn't let C Boogie one up me. C Boogie. He out here dismiss. He told her dismiss. I tell you what. I don't know what I gotta do something. Just be over there, be quiet. I'm just playing. I'm sorry. I'm just playing. For real, I'm just playing. All right.
Camera can't stay in all the time.
Yes, it can. No, it can't. That's Madam Cindy. That's fucked up. That is so fucked up. If you only knew, bruh. If you only fucking knew. With that being said, I'm out of here. Y'all have a good night. Peace. What you mean cameras don't stay on all the time? What you talking about?
Oh, you just got a thing still.
What?
Thing.
Oh, yo. Oh, shit. No, I didn't, because I was gonna set your ass up. I was gonna set you up. Oh, Shave, that's my nigga right there. That's my nigga. Let me get the tricking on. Oh, Shave, salute, brother. Thank you. Appreciate it. Get some sleep, man, because I know it's late over there, bro. But thank you. Cindy gonna give you an Ike Turner beat. Hey, yo, listen. Hey, Cindy, listen. Cindy be listening. She be listening to fucking battle rap, right? Cindy be like, this what Brooklyn do. Every time I look at you, I want to put a fist knife foot or a what do you say? I want to put a fist knife bullet or a foot in you. Cindy be over here quoting Mav Hoffa. Cindy be quoting Mav Hoffa. She be over here reciting Mav Hoffa lines and shit. Hoffa. Finally, Daddy's spending time with me. I thought it was funny. They thought it was funny too. Nah, but for real, I'm out of here. Yeah, oh shit, that's the slave driver Cindy. That's the one that be slide, and the fingernails be clicking and shit on the phone. So yeah. What's up? Okay, y'all enjoy your night. Love and light. Peace. Okay, now I ended it. Now you can talk shit.